Parikshit, and welcome to another very exciting session on Unacademy CATalyst. In today's session, we are going to talk about the do's and don'ts for the last month to CAT 2021. Remember, we are in the month of November, and in a few weeks from today, lakhs and lakhs of aspirants will try their luck for the most grueling, as they say, and one of the most competitive exams in the country, the CAT. Well, the CAT. It's very important that you have the right strategies in place in this last few days, and you definitely got to push yourself to cross the finishing line with these right and golden strategies that I'm going to discuss in the next few minutes. So let's get started with today's session. Okay, this is me, Parikshit Saikia, your educator on Unacademy with the highest live class ratings thanks to my learners. New courses and batches are starting for CAT 2022 aspirants. A beginner's course on LRDI for CAT 2022 started on the 27th of October. And today, the 1st of November, we are starting a complete beginner's course on arithmetic. Make sure you catch me live if you are a 2022 aspirant. Also, if you plan to join Plus, remember to use the code Parikshit Saikia, which you see on your screen, right? Two codes, Parikshit Saikia or Parikshit Live. You can use either of these codes for maximum discounts and to get free mentorship from my side. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the last month to your CAT, right? And this is where most aspirants lose out because they don't have the right strategies in place. So last month to CAT. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about all the do's and don'ts that you got to follow in this last few days. Now the first and the most complex, I would say complex behavior that I see among students is you feel that you want to finish your syllabus. Finish your syllabus completely. Okay. Now this is something please don't try to do. This is something you don't try to do. Theoretically, I would say it is impossible to finish your syllabus. When I say finish your syllabus, you'd have something to study even probably 10 minutes before your exam, right? So think about it. In your graduation, you had a book, you had a proper syllabus, right? So hence it was very much possible to complete all the end of chapter practice questions and then tell yourself, I'm done with the syllabus. But here, that's not going to be the case, right? That's not going to be the case. Why? Because let's say you are a part of any Telegram group, WhatsApp group, any community, or your friend circle. Everyone will be doing some question or the other. And trust me, there are so many books available in the market that at the end of the day, no human being on planet Earth can ever say that I'm going to finish my syllabus. I have done every question. Impossible. What you're going to focus on in this last few days is to revise and revise whatever you have done, okay, in this last 5, 6, 7 months. Revise. This revision is very, very, very important. Revision plus, I would say, one sectional test. One sectional test every day. One sectional test. I would write each. Okay, when I say each, basically each for quants, verbal, and LRDI. Quants, okay, verbal, and LRDI. When I say a sectional test, make sure, if possible, take the sectional test in a time span of 40 minutes. In a time span of 40 minutes. Let's say you don't get a sectional test for 40 minutes. Let's say it's for 1 hour. What do? You stop at 40 minutes. 40 minutes, try to check how many questions could you attempt and how many of those you got it right. So twofold strategy. Very simple. Revise whatever you have learned these last few days, and then one sectional test each for quants, verbal, LRDI on a daily basis. Now, revision, trust me, is going to be a bit fast. Why it's going to be a bit fast? Because at the end of the day, these are questions which you have already done. While revising, it is important to understand that some of these questions, or most of these questions rather, you are probably doing it for the last time. You're not going to get time again to do these questions once again. So hence, it is essential that you prepare a spreadsheet, okay? You prepare a spreadsheet. Anyone who has seen my previous videos would know about this spreadsheet that I talk about every day. Let's say you are preparing the chapter on percentages. and then profit, loss and discount, and then ratio, proportion, variation as an example. Okay. Now you must write down from wherever you are practicing. Let's say you are practicing from a book, you could not get percentage question number 5 correct. Or probably you are preparing from class notes. Class 1 question 5, you got it incorrect while revising. Just make a note of it in an Excel sheet. Similarly, question number 13, you got it incorrect. Same thing you do for profit less discount, same thing you do for RPP. Why this is essential? Because in the last 1 week before your CAT, you exactly know what to revise. What are you going to revise? You are going to revise those questions which you have got it wrong while revising in the first 1 or 2 weeks of November, right? You don't want to revise everything. Let's say percentage question number 1 to 4, you got it correct. You don't want to revise them. You anyway get them correct if it comes on the day of your exam. But question 5, you got it wrong today. Hence, you definitely want to revise it once again. More so because it is a very beautiful concept embedded in it, right? That's what you're going to do. This is part 1. So part 1 is basically preparing the spreadsheet while revising. Part B. Part B, you are going to do mixed topics. When I say mixed topics, it is very essential that you follow this strategy. What do I mean by mixed topics? You are not going to prepare percentages for the next 3 days. That's going to be a disaster. Don't do that. What you do, you are going to take up topics randomly. Let's say while revising, okay, you first take up first 5 questions from percentages. Next 5 questions from profit loss discount. Next 5 from RPV. Next 5 from SICI and so on. Probably day 1, you can do 5 questions from each of the topic. Question number 1 to question number 5. Every topic of quants. Day 2, again, every topic, question 6 to question 10. Question 6 to question 10, let's say percentage, profit loss discount, ratio, proportion, PNC, and so on. Day 3, question number 11 to 15. So if there are, let's say, 20 chapters, 5 questions from every chapter would make it 100 questions per day. 100 questions only per day, right? So that's very good. That's very good when it comes to quants. LRDI, probably you can do 5 sets daily, 5 sets or 6 sets daily in this last few days. What about RCs? Definitely 5 RCs per day, right? But don't, especially for quants, LRDI is fine, verbal is fine. But for quants, you got to ensure you are doing mixed topics. Why do I say so? Because a lot of times students call me and tell me, sir, you know what? For probability is something I did very nicely 2 months before. But today when I open up probability, I don't remember anything. You don't want to fall in this category, right? Today, if you do probability, let's say on November 1, 2, and 3, you do probability, and then you don't revise probability till the 25th of November. 26, you open up the book, and then you realize you don't remember anything. Why? And that's very normal. We are all humans. We cannot be remembering things forever. Hence, it is essential that every day you are in touch with all the 20 chapters of quants, be it 3 questions per day if you can't put in that many hours, or be it 5 questions per day every chapter, but make sure you touch every chapter on a daily basis. LRDI, I would say follow the strategy, especially for topics which needs prior knowledge. As an example, cubes. Have you solved questions on 2 faces of the cubes painted with the same color and 2 opposite faces painted with another color? If you do it today and you don't do it for the next 25 days, chances are that you will forget. So it's always better that, let's say, if you're practicing LRDI, today you solve a set on cubes. Tomorrow you solve another set, or probably 3 days later you solve another set on cubes, rather than deciding to solve all the cube related caselets at once. That's not gonna help. Okay? Be mixed topics. Third is when you are revising, okay, you got to prioritize topics. Very, very, very important. Prioritize topics. What do I mean by prioritize topics? Okay, let's say in quants, again, I'll give an example of quants. You know that the last 4-5 years, okay, arithmetic constitutes about 35% weightage. 35% weightage is given to arithmetic. So can you keep arithmetic for the last few days while revising? Absolutely not. Now when time is remaining, if you have decided to revise once, okay, if you have decided to give, let's say, sectional test, if you decide to write sectional test, probably give arithmetic sectional test more weightage, probably every day. Give one arithmetic sectional test, or every alternate day, or every 3 days, practice arithmetic sectional test. Why? Because you know for sure this is the topic which almost every year, I won't say 5 years, rather 10 years, 15 years, this has been the topic which constitutes the maximum weightage. Hence, you are going to master this topic. Followed by algebra. Followed by algebra. So, arithmetic, algebra. So, this is the sequence that you are going to follow, right? Arithmetic, algebra. Then comes geometry and mensuration. Geometry and mensuration. Then comes modern maths. What is modern maths? PNC and probability. PNC and probability. And then you are going to do numbers. Then you are going to do numbers. Right? These 5 topics have to be studied. And I say, I repeat, have to be studied in this order. Can you skip arithmetic? You can't. Can you skip algebra? You can't, unless you decide to take a very high amount of risk. If you have not prepared well, if you once scare you the last few days, you know what, you want to revise, you say that I can't finish 100% of the syllabus now. Fine, don't do that. And at least try to finish arithmetic and algebra. If you do that, and if you do that well, probably you will very clearly clear the cutoffs only with these 2 topics of arithmetic and algebra. Very, very, very important. Next is so when I'm talking about the revision strategies, right? I'm talking about while revising. Next is, it's very important to understand your strengths and weakness. Very important. Understand strengths and weaknesses. Okay, strengths, weaknesses. Let's take examples to explain what do I mean. Okay, let's take an example of RCs. Okay, let's take an example of RCs. The next 5 days, or probably the last 20 days, whatever RCs you have attempted in your mocks, okay, whatever RCs you have attempted in your mocks, please prepare a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is the key to doing well in RCs. Mention the areas of RCs. As an example, you know what, mock 1, okay, last 10 mocks or 5 mocks you have given, write down mock 1, okay. The RCs were, as an example, let's say literature. As an example, let's say economy, okay. As an example, let's say sports, there can be so many topics. Similarly, mock 2 also prepare a similar one, okay, literature, economy, sports. Mock 3 and all the mocks that you have written so far. At the end, what your analysis should be, given a literature RC, okay, a literature RC, what has been your accuracy? Can you determine your accuracy? Definitely. Number of questions that you attempted, okay, and number of questions that you got correct. That determines your accuracy. So correct divided by attempts. Correct divided by attempts will get you the accuracy for each of these areas. Look at each of the areas individually. Okay. For some areas, trust me, you might not have realized this, but this is very important. Some areas, your this ratio is going to be very, very, very high. As an example, let's say sports. Probably your accuracy in sports RCs is nearly 90%. While in economy, over the last few RCs, your accuracy has been only 40%. These are just examples. Okay. What happens? On the day of your CAT, you know that sports is your area. You have been getting these RCs correct in your mocks. This RC I'm going to attempt. Should I get a sports RC on the day of the CAT? I'm going to attempt the sports RC. Should I get an economy RC on the day of your CAT? Okay, I'm going to keep this RC for the very last. Why last? If time permits, I'm attempting. Otherwise, I won't attempt. Why? Because the last 5, 6, 7 mocks, your accuracy on an average has been 40%. So unless miracles happen on the day of your CAT, for an economy RC, your accuracy will not shoot up to 90% or 100%. Will not happen, trust me. Magics don't happen overnight. What you know your strengths from beforehand. Because you know your strengths from beforehand, you know which RCs and which areas are you going to target should you get these RCs on the day of your exam. I would definitely suggest first 2 minutes find out which RCs have come, okay, which RCs, which areas at least. Let's say RC number 1 is from economics, RC number 2 is let's say philosophy, okay, RC number 3 is let's say on nuclear physics. So there can be different areas, right? At least I don't want you to read the RC, just find out which area has the RC come from. You can take 1.5 to 2 minutes and accordingly make your choice depending on your strengths. Your strength is going to determine which RCs you're going to attempt first in the VRC section. Correct? Similarly, you need to understand the same thing for LRDI as well. The same logic, right? Strengths and weaknesses for the LRDI section. Now remember, in LRDI, I definitely always tell my students, please do DI very nicely. DI, a lot of focus and emphasis should be put on DI. Why do I say so? Reason being, in LR, no matter how much ever effort you put, you know what? There can be puzzles on the day of your exam which you might not be able to solve, or probably it's a puzzle which you have never solved before, which the type of puzzle, right, that has come you have never solved before. So it could be very difficult for you to solve. Fine, but you know what? DI is very predictable, very predictable. There are not too many variations, and I always say, when I say variations, I always mean compared to LR. DI, there are not too many variations. Hence, it is very predictable. Because it is very predictable, you definitely got to prepare DI well. There might be just 2 sets on DI. Fine. But do you realize that at the end of the day, out of the 5 or 6 sets, even if you solve 2.5 to 3 sets in your CAT correctly, you'll be through. You'll be through. Correct? So definitely make sure you do DI very, very, very nicely, so that if you get something which has been done in the class or which you have seen in the book and the probability is very high in a DI, you will get it correct. You will get it correct. LR, do I mean ignore LR? I never said that. I'm only saying do things which are more predictable. Some of you find games and tournaments very difficult. Last 7 months, you've been finding it very difficult. Should you spend nights and days and hours doing games and tournaments in this last few days? No. What happens if games and tournaments doesn't even come? And let's say if it comes, you find it very difficult, fine, leave it. You anyway are not going to attempt 6 sets. Correct? So you got to understand your strengths and weakness, because I would say LRDI, 50% of your performance in LRDI is dependent on which areas or sets you decide to attempt on the day of your exam. Should you choose an easy set, okay, and you get it correct, you'll be through. You are very good in LRDI, but you end up picking up a wrong set, a set which is very difficult, a set which has got 6 questions. But you know what? You picked up the set just because it got 6 questions, and now you realize you are nowhere. You spent 13 minutes. Could be chances are less that you will clear the cutoffs. So very important, understand your strength, and your strength could be in the DI traditional charts, right? Percentage change, percentage increase, right? It could be binary logic. So a lot of things, right? And in LR, some traditional LR sets definitely do. As an example, a 4-set Venn diagram. Have you done a 4-set Venn diagram? Do you know how to draw a 4-set Venn diagram? Right? Venn diagram is one topic which is very easy. Do you know how to do it? If you have learned only up to 3 sets Venn diagram, then you are taking a huge risk, right? Because these are easy topics. Puzzles could be just any puzzle. So don't spend too much time on the last few days on puzzles, but definitely give one sectional test in LR every day, where you can also get 1 or 2 puzzles, okay? And please revise. Revise whatever you have done in LR. Quants. Next, I come to quants. Quants, exactly the same thing you got to understand. You got to solve quants, okay? You got to solve quants in 3 rounds. You got to solve quants in 3 rounds, Round 1, round 2, and round 1, pick up the sitters. What do I mean by sitters? These are very, very easy questions. Questions which you have done in the class before, questions which are just one-liners and probably will not take more than 90 seconds to 120 seconds to solve. Pick up the sitters and make sure you get them correct. Right? So when I say round 1, round 2, round 3, what do I mean? I mean in the first 15 minutes, you try to reach from question 1 to question number 25 or 22, whatever the number, let's say 20, 1 to 20. Does it mean you will solve all 20 questions in 15 minutes? Humanly impossible. What I'm only saying is out of the 20 questions in quants in the first 15 minutes, pick up all questions. Let's say 1, 7, 13, 19, and 25 questions, 6 questions, 7 questions, but reach up till the very end. What did you do? In the process, every sitter which was there, one-liner questions, questions which you have done in the class before, you have solved them. Round 2, which questions you will pick up? All questions in round 1 which you have marked for review. Use this button judiciously. Mark for review. What does mark for review tell you? Mark for review tell you that in round 1 when you are trying to do the sitters, you probably came across a question which was 5-liners, but it was from time and work. That is your strength. That is your area. You have always got time and work questions correct. Mark it for review. Why? Because moment round 1 is over and you want to come back, you know exactly which question you want to look for. Remember scoring, we press 1 once, then twice, and then question number 3, and then 4. You're trying to search for the questions. It's going to be tough. It's going to be time consuming. Don't do that. Make sure questions are already handy and you know which question exactly you want to review. Yes? Round 3, I would say pick up questions which are lengthy calculations. There is probably a question which you know how to solve, but in a method which will probably take 4 minutes. Good, please go ahead and solve it. Doesn't matter, right? You're taking four minutes. At the end of the day, what is important is you're getting it correct. So there could be 1, 2, 3 questions which are lengthy, which you know how to solve it. Just that because they are lengthy, you haven't solved them. You pick it up in the last 10 or 11 minutes of the paper, last 10 to 12 minutes of the paper. So divide the 40 minutes judiciously into 3 parts: 13, 13, 13, or 13, 14, 14, 13, or 15, 13, 12, whatever you want. But yeah, this is the strategy you definitely got to follow. So last month, very important about this review. Next part of my discussion will focus on sectional tests. Remember, you just got to do 2 things, right? Sectional test, don't try to finish your syllabus. Don't try to finish your syllabus. It will never be, okay? Sectional test. What about sectional tests? Definitely give 1 sectional test on a daily basis. And when I say daily, it's not enough to give 3 sectional tests, 1 for quants, 1 for verbal, 1 for LRDI, but also to analyze the test. After the sectional test is over, spend some time out, okay? Analyze the test. There is no point giving a sectional test and not analyzing it. If you don't analyze, please don't attempt another sectional test the next day, because the purpose of a sectional test is not to show to yourself how much you know, but rather to learn new things. So if there is no learning, don't go to the next sectional test. So after every sectional test, keep some time extra, sit down and mark and look at every question. Whether you got them correct is one thing, but more importantly, whether you picked up the right ones. Did you pick up those sitters, or probably you left a sitter? Do you know the concept well? Once you read the solution, let's say an elevator question, okay, elevator, time, speed, and distance, elevator based question. Are you able to understand the solution? Or probably it's still very hazy because you have forgotten the concept. There is a question on number of factors, but you don't remember the number of factors formula. Could you go back? Now is the time to go back and look at the book, look at your notes, and get that part correct. Very, very, very important these last few days that you do well and do really well in your CAT. Okay, a few announcements now. Few announcements. First of all, a lot of new batches starting. You want to prepare for NMAT? We in Unacademy have a batch for you. You are a CAT 22 aspirant, we have a batch for you. And if you are preparing for the IIFT, we again have batches for you. So remember, if you wish to enroll for any of these batches, use my code Parikshit Live, because this is the code that is going to give you maximum discounts. And yeah, the plus subscription is available for those of you who are interested. The prices you see here, and yeah, these are the prices. But on top of it, if you need more discounts, use my code Parikshit Live. This will give you additional discounts. And yeah, iconic subscription is also available for those of you who are interested. We in Unacademy have got full-length mock exams specifically designed for you, and there'll be in-depth analysis of each of these mocks by experts. Do enroll now using my code Parikshit Live. And yeah, anytime you have doubts, please use your app, send across your doubt, and we in Unacademy are going to answer your doubt via your Ask a Doubt feature on Unacademy. That is it. I hope you understand the importance of these last few days, and I hope that you seriously follow the strategies that we talked about today. These are for your benefits. That is it. Good luck, keep preparing, and I'm going to see you in my next session. Till then, goodbye.